But the one thing they do have in common is a love for chocolate.
I normally like something like a twirl.
Dairy milk or white. No plain or dark chocolate.
A box of Ferrero Rocher when I'm in a really naughty mood.
Carte d'Or or any dark chocolate that I can get my hands on.
At the end of the day, I can sort of head off to the supermarket and eat Toblerone in the car park.
Cadbury's dairy milk, I suppose. And how much of it? Far too much, I suppose. I didn't get this shape by not eating enough of it, so...
Willie's first task is to persuade them that what they consider chocolate isn't chocolate at all.
Hello, hi. I'm Willie. Nice to meet you.
Hiya.
Nice to meet you. I think the easiest way to explain who I am first is the whole process of making chocolate. Yeah, now that is a Peruvian bean from San Martin, and it's raw. Doesn't taste a lot about chocolate. Will we all be agreed about that one? This is a 1920s Bilbao roaster. Now, there's a ball that spins in there. I've just shut the door, and there's hot air that's going to come in from the back, in that back pipe there, and it will come out of this pipe here.
After cocoa beans are harvested, they are fermented, dried, and then roasted. Roasting the beans helps to develop their flavour. Then the beans are shelled.
Two big stones, granite stones inside here, grind it much the same as for milling your oats and wheat many years ago. It comes out here as a sort of paste, and it drops out onto these rollers, which basically refine it. Water runs through those rolls, because otherwise they obviously get very hot. So take a little bit, probably pinch a bit off, or... I can see that's quite fine. Bitter? Yeah. It's a little bit...
Sharp.
Basically, it's gone from cocoa nibs and now it's cocoa mass, OK? Now, I am going to this... It's unconched. That is a conching machine. Turn of the century, and that will make it more fine, OK? You'll see in a minute, you'll go, wow, that's even finer. OK, this gets rid of the bitterness. If everybody wants to try it, everyone pop that in their mouth. Come on, get that spoon in. You probably don't want to take the whole thing, unless you're bold. What do we think, everybody? Smooth, yeah? Much finer than even off the refiner. Yeah? So let's all go in here. This is my moulding tempering room. So if we can all come in. Obviously, this is not chocolate yet. This is still 100%. It's not chocolate until you put something else with it. I'd like you all just to take one of those tiny little lumps. OK? This is finished, OK? For me, this is my 100% finished. It's Peruvian San Martin. It's a beautiful bean. To some people, it might still be bitter. I'm sorry, ladies. Can you see a better? Still very bitter? You look like you're going to retch, but not in the bucket. OK? Who's got some chocolate? Anyone got... Can we see some of what you consider chocolate?
Mine are around
Do you want to... Whoa, we got some Galaxy. OK, good old favourite, some dairy milk. We've got 2 dairy milks. OK, so should we have a little taste of that? Shall we all...
It is soft, though.
It's soft.
It is soft.
OK, what have we got then? Texture, nice, isn't it? Quite smooth.
More milky.
Smooth, what, milky?
A bit more sugar in it than flavour.
Sugar. What's predominant? What's the predominant word that comes to mind when you put that in your mouth?
Sweet.
Sweet.
100%.
Everybody's sweet, isn't it?
We have tasted real cacao,
Sweet.
and
That's
now
the problem.
all of a sudden you put that in your mouth. So
This is
it's got
true. This is...
clang. Oh!
But even if we hadn't had the real cacao, would you all have given me back that same word?
Yes. No, you said that was...
You would have.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
There they were coming out with the words, hey, that's sweet, that's milk. They weren't coming out with chocolate. And that's really what I'm just talking about with everybody. That's what I'm trying to explain. I'm talking about the flavour is chocolate, not milk or sugar. What are we buying? Chocolate.
Little dessert.
It's a shaky start for Willie and his chocoholics, and it would seem he may have his work cut out to get them and their taste buds beyond the milky, sweet flavours they're used to.
You know, for me, this is a sort of litmus test to stuff I want to do, you know. I mean, am I mad? Am I dreaming about the flavour of chocolate? Is everything about flavour, or is it about sugar or milk? I mean, I don't know.
Changing the habits of a lifetime won't happen overnight, but Willie intends to see them all again in a month's time to find out if he can wean them off their sweet tooth.
This is what I've got for you, OK? This is your kit, which inside I've got some really nice chocolates, lots of different kinds, 70% predominantly. And what I'd really like you to do is when you get the urge and you feel like that chocolate feeling, if you could just break off a square and have a square and just see if that satisfies you.
You know, I should be able to say, hey, look, this is real chocolate. What do you reckon? And people should understand it. Or maybe I'm potty. I mean, I don't know.
Thanks, guys.
Re-educating the taste buds of a nation will only be possible if Willie can get customers to try his products in the first place. But ready-to-eat chocolate is one of the most competitive markets in the world. If he's to break into it, Willie needs to find an eye-catching consumer proposition. He's always believed that his pure cocoa gives an instant burst of energy without making you fat. And if he can back up the theory with scientific proof, maybe he'll have a marketing proposition. Dr. Emma Ross of Brunel University has agreed to set up an experiment for him.
So what we're going to do today, the volunteers are going to come in and they're either going to have your chocolate drink or they're going to be taking a placebo, and then they'll be getting on the bike and doing an exercise test. So we will be measuring heart rate, which will give us an idea of the cardiovascular response to the exercise. They're going to have a mouthpiece in, so we're going to be measuring their respiration and their breathing. We're also going to be asking the volunteers about their perception of effort during the exercise, because perception is actually what stops people exercising or what makes people slow down, because it's a feedback of all of the other variables that we measure, the heart rate, sweating, leg pain. All of that will feed back to the brain and will be interpreted as a perception of effort. If we measure it all through the test, we can then compare your drink and the placebo drink and see whether people are actually rating the exercise as easier after they've had your chocolate drink. Theobromine and cacao are things that aren't well researched, and in exercise science, there's no research that says how cacao affects performance. So as an exercise scientist and a physiologist, it's very exciting for me to get a product that no one's looked at, and if we do find that the cacao improves performance, that's a really good foundation for future research in this area. Halfway through this stage, just rate how hard you think the exercise is feeling currently. 9. 11, great. If you can just rate how strenuous the exercise is feeling at the moment. 8. 5 minutes left. Final stage. Well done.
As confident as I am, you know, I'm not entirely sure what the result's going to be. I don't know to what extremes we're going to find out today how good this stuff really is.
So this is the first time that anyone has tested whether cacao and a cacao drink will positively affect performance. We haven't got any previous research to base our assumptions on. You know, this experiment is new ground for exercise science. Hi, Willie.
Hi.
I know you're excited to hear the result.
I am.
Yeah? So you'll be pleased to know that we did find some positive effects on the exercise performance after people drank your cocoa when compared to drinking the placebo. So, yeah, so
it's not imaginary, it works.
Absolutely, yeah. So there were some measures that didn't change, but on some important measures, everybody had a positive effect following drinking your cocoa drink. OK, so I've got a couple of graphs.
Yeah.
These bars here show each stage of the test. You remember we had 4 stages?
Absolutely, yeah.
So the dark bars here are the placebo and the light bars are your cocoa drink. Now this is perceived effort. So remember I said perception is really important.
Yeah, OK.
On every level of the test, people were perceiving the exercise to be easier after they drank your cocoa drink. So
that's great.
Through some mechanism, the cocoa drink was making them feel like the same level of exercise was actually easier.
The feel-good factor.
The feel-good factor.
Yeah, brilliant.
So that's great news.
Yeah, that's really lovely.
This graph is giving us an indication of what the predominant fuel is that we're burning during exercise, whether it's carbohydrates or fat. Now you can see that the cocoa drink is consistently lower than the placebo drink.
Absolutely, massively.
Yeah, so what that means is that the individuals had a greater tendency to use fat for fuel during their exercise after we drink the cocoa drink.
I love it. It means eat my chocolate and burn fat, not get fat. Don't you love it? Brilliant. For everybody.
For everybody.
That's good, no? I mean,
Okay,
not
great.
1 or 2 or the majority.
No,
but
so...
all of them. That's great, no?
That's good.
That's brilliant.
Because cacao and the components of cacao, such as theobromine, haven't received much attention in the exercise literature, this is a really exciting starting point for the exercise science community to then take this product, this cacao, and see whether we can explore more how it can improve performance.
Yeah, scientifically proven that my hot chocolate is healthy and stimulates you.
So the next major hurdle is whether Willie can source enough of the highest quality beans to produce his chocolate in bulk. To find out, he has a 5,000-mile trip ahead of him into the heart of the Venezuelan jungle.